Hi everyone, good morning. How are you? Okay, thank you, Amit sir. Hello class, how are you? Hi students, good morning. So, all right. Today, you guys know, do you have anything related to legal studies? Have you ever read anything related to legal studies? We are going to keep it a little interactive today because today we are going to have an introduction as to what is legal studies. You guys have a subject called legal studies, so we are going to go through, the basic headings as to what all legal studies include, right? So, okay, let me introduce myself. My name is Weber Phillips, and I have recently joined your institution. And I shall be taking up legal studies, and I'll be helping you out with all your doubts, clearing up your chapters. And we have a fixed curriculum in ISC for legal studies, and I hope that you students should download it from the council website. It's on the ISC ICSC website, class 11, the legal studies syllabus. I guess you people can download it from there on your phones or on your laptops. So let me ask you guys a question. How many of you have lawyers in your family, advocates in your family? Like, do you people have any advocates and lawyers in your family? Like, there are a lot of students that I see. You have advocates in your family. So, do you guys see your family members surrounded by a lot of books, legal books and everything? They have their own library. So, legal studies is basically a subject where it's more about awareness, logics, less of theory, less of stories. Yes, we will have interesting case studies and case laws to discuss, but legal studies is more like something which is a logic, right? Now, okay. So, introduction to legal studies. There are certain things that I need to tell you all. There are certain things to be cleared up, and don't worry about the camera quality right now, because the video when it will be uploaded for you as reference, you'll have a better quality. Don't worry about it. I'm recording it via other device. I'm not recording from here, so you'll have a better quality when I record it and I upload it later on. Okay. So, okay. All right. So why do we study legal studies? Why is there a need that the ISC and the CBSE curriculums have included legal studies in our study curriculum? See, the basic need is there is a subject course for college students called law, which goes by the name BA LLB. But as such, there is no preparation in schools when a student goes to pursue law or BA LLB, right? School में we are taught physics, chemistry, maths, bio, commerce, accounts, all sorts of subjects. But we were never given the chance or an opportunity to study legal studies to pursue for the students who want to pursue law. For example, that you guys have a lot of a lot of you have advocates in your family. So for that you have to enroll yourself and give various exams to become an advocate. But then since school age we don't have a prior preparation for that. So introduction to legal studies is something that has been given as a boon so that we all can learn it, and then we can move forward with a lot of basic legal knowledge and then take it up to college, right? So students, now we are going to start with introduction to legal studies. I'm not taking up any chapter today. I'm just going to give you an introduction, a basic introduction about your subject, right? Am I audible to everybody? Can you people tell me if I'm audible to all of you? All right, I'm clear and audible. Good. Okay. So shall we start with introduction to legal studies? Like I'll tell you what, like the whatnots about this subject. Are you all ready? Okay. So, uh, see, imagine there was no law, there was no rules, there was nothing. that was guiding our nation or our state, if if it's that ways that we don't have any law, any rules, nothing as such, our situation in the society would be very chaotic, right? Do you guys know what chaotic is? Do you people know what chaotic is? Okay, so the introduction to law in a state or in a country is basically to reduce the idea of chaos in a society, and there is like a betterment in the livelihood of everyone around. If we have to live a decent life, if we have to live an organized life, we live by a schedule. We get up in the morning, we do our chores, we are off to our work. If we are students, we study, we go to the schools. Right now, these days, you people are very much involved with the online classes. So that is something that indulges you in your daily life schedule, right? So in that ways, if you see, there is something which is making you organized. The school has given you certain rules that you have to be present for your online classes at a certain time, and hence all the students have to be there online at one time, so it doesn't create a chaos, right? You people are together here all the time, like we have Zoom classes, we have a lot of students sitting together, the teachers are here. So this is a set of rules and a set of, a set of laws and bylaws made by your school that we have to follow, and you people are following that thoroughly, and hence you have no chaos as such regarding your online school classes. So, excuse me. So that's what I'm trying to tell you, that we have to have a set of laws, a set of rules to keep us organized. Now, if we move ahead about laws and society, we would see that there is something called law and order, that a lot of us, this term is something that a lot of us must have, come around. Do you guys know what law and order mean? Students, tell me, like, if you like, you can unmute your mic for a moment and tell me, like, if anybody knows what law and order means. No one? Okay, I'll tell you what law and order is. Okay, so in a civil society, in a society where we live, we have to have certain things that guide us through through our day-to-day lives. They help us as to how we survive in a society, right? So that is something that falls under law and order. Okay, so there is a line that I would state: laws are essential to preserve our way of life and must be established and upheld in everyone's best interest. So not only law and order or the laws around us just protect us or fulfill our needs, but it also looks up to our interests. Law and order is nothing just, it's nothing but protection of the own citizens, looking up to their interests, their line of interest, their livelihood and whatnot. So we live in a civil society, we don't live in a chaotic society. So law and order is a must, and it's necessary that we have a decent run by through it. Do you people have an idea about your, like, does anybody around you has that ISC syllabus? Anybody has that? Hello, am I audible? Am I not clear to you people? Okay, I guess you have it. Okay, fine. So there must be a chapter. The first chapter must be history of Indian legal system, I suppose. Historical evolution. All right. So okay, so thank you. I will tell you as to what does that mean. So are you people clear with laws and bylaws around us? Like what happens, why do they function for us, and how do they function for us? See, uh, there are a lot many things in law. We cannot just start at one point and expect it to be a very little and a common topic. Law includes, I don't know, like thousands of topics, like thousands if that's the number. Law includes thousands of topics and subtopics and subjects. So what one of the students said, the first chapter is historical evolution of the legal system in India. So as an introductory class today, I'll tell you that historical evolution is something that promoted law around us, and it also improved the status of law that we had around us. There were certain things that were not very compatible as per the interests of the people of the country and as per the guidelines provided by the government as well. But then the, these days, if you see, law has been made in such a way that it is in interest of the majority of the citizens in the country. Plus, we have guidelines provided by the government that we have to follow, because at the end they'll be doing good for us and it will be for the goodwill for all the citizens in the country, right? So I have certain, I did go through certain things that I should tell you about as to how you're going to go through legal studies. So there is a tactic that we'll follow while studying this subject. There are a lot many chapters as well, but then I'll be preparing study material for you people. I'll be helping you out, and the way we study is going to be very simple. Firstly, you people are class 12 student, class 11 students, sorry. So we're going to make it in a manner where we'll break down paragraph by paragraph or topic by topic. Like for example, a subject, a chapter, historical evolution of the Indian legal system. If we take up that, it has been segregated topic by topic, and I have very well managed it paragraph by paragraph, so that when students or the teachers, we move on while teaching and learning the content out of it, we go in a step. There is no chaos regarding that. We go step by step. We also see certain topics which have been used under different subheadings, and they are being used under different subheadings. So there are topics which might fall under two different subheadings, but then they mean the same. They might mean different at times. So law is very tactical. So what I'll be teaching you is going to be purely logic, and I'll be translating. The subject material is definitely going to be in English, so I'm going to break down every paragraph and make you people understand the meaning, so that there is no such confusion left. And did you people see as on the website a certain sort of assignment has been uploaded? Did you people go through that, students? Okay, so can any one of you tell me like what was that assignment about? Like if like just in one line as to what was that about? All right, go through that later, but then I'll give you a hint that we have the chapter, like it's not a very long chapter. The first chapter that you will be provided in the first as the study material for the first chapter, historical evolution. But then you have to be very thorough with whatever I tell you. You have to write down points. If I'm saying something which is going to be important under a topic, if you write that down, it will help you connect with all the data that has been or that will be provided to you regarding the chapter. the questions would be in short answers and in long answers, differentiated into two parts. Uh, but then I guess there doesn't have to be a hard and fast rule where you'll have to there you don't have to just gulp down everything. There has to be a lot of understanding that we'll be going through. I'll also, do you people know what are case laws? Does anyone has an idea of what the word case laws mean? Case law. So all new terminologies for you people, right? Okay, so don't worry. Case law is a term which basically means that in the past, for example, say in 1985, there was a case, a civil law case, which turned out to be a very important case throughout the country. And the judgment that was passed out of that case has been cited down as a law now. So that turns it into a case law. For example, a judgment that has been, nourished out of a case. The judge laid down a judgment out of a case, and that judgment was so grave and so important, it held such a value that the decision was turned out to be converted into a law. So that is a case law. So I'll be discussing case laws with you as well. For example, we have a topic of theft, right? Theft, pata hai sabko? Everybody knows what theft is. Everybody is aware of what theft is. So, for example, if I am teaching theft and the different exceptions and terminologies related to it, it's not a very vast topic. I'm just giving you an example. So, if there are certain things that you people might get stuck to, sir, there's a difference between theft and robbery and dacoity. These are three different things depending on the same act in nature: theft, dacoity, and robbery. But then there are certain different points as well. That's why it has been differentiated as three different points: theft, robbery, and dacoity. So for that, I'm going to teach you people a case law. If necessary, or if that much grave on that topic, I'm going to teach you people a case law. So when you go through a case law, when I tell you the points about it, you will be clear as to what happened in the case and what kind of things we have to keep in mind while differentiating between terminologies which hardly make any difference in their meanings. For example, theft, robbery, and dacoity. People around us use theft and robbery for similar acts. They say a dacoity took place in my locality. So common people who are unaware of the differences, they use all the terms in a common manner. They have they find no such difference. But then there are differences which we will keep in mind. And okay, so one interesting thing: do you people have an idea about fundamental rights? Class 9th and 10th civics. Fundamental rights, pata? Fundamental rights, pata? Okay. Can any one of you tell me how many fundamental rights are we dealing with these days in our country? Oh, okay. So I heard someone say 7. So when and why do we? You people must be knowing why we have fundamental rights. Rights say you must be understanding as to why it has been provided. Like, send me a thumbs up if you all know why we have fundamental rights. Like, I don't want everybody to answer, but I'll know that all of you are aware as to why we have been given fundamental rights. So I guess all of you know why we have been provided with them. Right? So now if we find a logic behind as to how fundamental rights work, we'll see that fundamental rights were made for a person who is a citizen of Indian country. Now, if I am an Indian nationality, those fundamental rights are diligently applied on me. I can use them. I can make good use of it. I can let people be aware of it. I can help my family. I can help my friends. I can help my co-workers. to know about their own fundamental rights. But then I cannot compel anyone to even make a misuse of that fundamental right. So there's a difference between using someone for its good and misusing something. It's basically what we were taught in and we are being told by our parents that never make misuse of any sort of power, any sort of privilege that you've been given. We should never make any misuse of that, because it backfires right on us only, not on anyone else. So that's what the government, the political agendas, and the basic civics that you have studied tells us, that fundamental rights have been provided to us for our own benefit. We shouldn't make any sort of misuse, right? Do you people know what fundamental duties are? There are rights and then we have duties as well. Fundamental duties. Okay, so now our country is a very vast governing system. Now that they had given us fundamental rights, they gave us fundamental duties as well. That not just the citizens will be given privileges, but there will be certain things that the citizens will have to abide by and do them, or rather prevent themselves from doing it. Duties, fundamental duties are just not the things that you have to do. There can be certain things that you don't have to do. That fundamental duties might prevent you from doing something, because if you do them, you might fall into something wrong. You might be accused for something, right? So there's a difference between fundamental rights and duties. Rights are the privileges, right? And duties are, you people live at your homes, live at your houses. You have your fundamental rights. Your family must be having a constitution that we get up at this time. Office people go to office after breakfast. School children go to school. We come back. We have family time. We play. We eat. We go out. We come back, and then we take a nap. So this is the constitution of your house, of everyone's house. Now you have your own rights and duties. If your parents have provided you with certain privileges, that you can go out and play, you can use the laptop for gaming, you can use the TV for watching movies or cartoons, but then they must have been you must have been provided with certain duties as well. For example, once in a week you have to clean your room. Once in a week you have to help your parents while cleaning the whole house. Once in a week you have to sit down and arrange all your school material. So these are certain duties also that have been provided to you in light to the rights that they have given you. Getting my point, everyone? And if my voice is distorting even a little bit, let me know, okay? If my voice is not clear at any moment, please let me know. Okay, so I gave you a basic introduction about legal studies, fundamental rights, duties, citizens. We are the citizens of the Indian country. We have a constitution, and you people must be aware that there are two kinds of basic laws that we deal with: civil and criminal law. Have you heard of that? Okay, that's very good. So a lot of students. Okay, since you people told me that you have people back at home who are practicing law, who are advocates, so you must have ever come across from them saying that they are either dealing with civil law cases or they are dealing with criminal law cases, right? So civil law, criminal law, both of these fields of studies are differentiated on what kinds of activities they deal. So civil law basically deals with cases that run around our society on an uncriminalized basis, right? Where we have family matters to look into, where we have constitutional matters to look into, where we have matters relating to property, right? Insurance claims and whatnot. Criminal law basically deals with what we started talking about: theft, robbery, murder, dacoity. Okay, so criminal law and civil law have two different branches of study, under the same head of law. But then, since we have so much segregation, so it got divided into civil law and criminal law. Okay. Okay. So why is the legal system a very systematic system? Why do we have such a systematic ideology behind laws and bylaws running our country? Why is that? Would anybody like to speak up? That's okay. I'll tell you people. See, why my question was, why does the legal system is a systematic ideology? See, the basic motive behind having a proper legal system is to avoid the country and its citizens from getting into a chaotic society, to reduce chaos, to reduce all sorts of mishaps happening around. Law is converted into a systematic field of study. Since there will be a basic algorithm as to how laws work, a basic flowchart as to how laws work, so the government is going to be very easily, the government will very easily implement that on the citizens. If there is no system, if there is no flowchart, there is no such kind of hierarchy, कोई तरीका अगर नहीं होगा लॉज को बिठाने का, तो उसको the government won't be able to impose on the citizens. If it is unsystematic, the citizens are not going to understand what law is. कोई चोरी करके जा रहा है, कोई किसी का सामान लेके जा रहा है, they don't find any difference. They won't find any difference. They'll be like, I just took it because I wanted it. But then there is a law that you cannot take someone else's belonging without asking them. So that is basic theft. You have stolen something from someone and it falls under criminal law. If a person doesn't know the systematic study behind it, he'll take someone else's belongings and walk away every time they want to. And that is wrong. So that is why law is a systematic ideology. It's a systematic study. In law, nothing is done without a proper order. Nothing is done without proper logics. And keep in mind, the highest post in law is becoming a high court or a supreme court judge, and they are the entities that keep in mind and they take the very the ultimate crucial precautions before delivering a judgment. Since they are aware of so many laws, उनके सामने जब कोई केस की डीलिंग होती है, and you people must have seen in movies or must have seen in TV series that there is a courtroom, there is a judge sitting on the highest desk that has been provided to him, and then a case dealing is going on between two advocates. You must have seen there is not one advocate dealing a case. There is someone who is for the motion and there is someone who is against the motion, right? So when there are two parties who are being represented by two advocates, a case study is going on and a judge has to deliver a judgment, the judge takes utmost directions, he takes utmost precautions, crucial mindset games have been happening with him, and then he takes a judgment. He takes a judgment so that neither of the parties feel unsatisfied, and that is something that a judge does on just a piece of paper, but by listening. He listens to the whole case. For example, if the case is going on for a month, by the way, I'll make it clear, you people must have seen it in movies that आज सुबह एक केस दाखिल हुआ हाई कोर्ट में, the case was taken up and then it got disposed, the victim goes home happy with a lot of money and the accused person goes to jail, right? You must have seen that in movies. But that is not the case. If at times a case starts, it can take months, weeks and months to be disposed. तो जो movies में आधे घंटे का scene दिखा देते हैं, that is not a reality. That happens very rarely. it takes weeks and months for a case, because there are millions of cases throughout the country of India, work active cases and pending cases, I'm telling you. So I guess 1% or 2% cases are those cases that can be taken up in a day and then disposed of in a day. But that doesn't happen on a regular basis. We have n number of cases and they take up weeks and months to be disposed. So whenever the judge is taking so much time, then do you think the gravity that judge is taking up in his head while delivering a judgment, he's been listening to the case for a month and then he delivers a judgment, do you think he has to be wrong there? एक महीने बाद भी if he listens to the case for a month, उसके बाद भी अगर वो गलत judgment देगा, तो which means he is not into a systematic study, right? So you students are getting my point, right? That how systematic legal studies can be. It's very easy. If you study with the flow, if you study with the proper evaluation that I'm telling you all, it'll be very easy. See, the basic funda to study and to understand and learn a subject at the same time is going step by step. Whatever chapter did you people go across go across the chapter, go through the chapter number 1, historical evolution or history of legal system? Have you people seen it, like the chapter, any subject material related to it? So there you can see that all the topics are interrelated, all the topics are given step by step. There is no, I have not jumbled up anything. Everything has to be step by step, and we will keep an idea of learning a chapter paragraph by paragraph. All right, and paragraph by paragraph will help you create an image as to how a topic started and how it ended. Okay, for example, if you get a long answer question to write in your exam, I think you should be able to figure out the whole story behind the answer and then frame it on your answer sheets. Okay, so let me ask you all one thing. Which was the highest scoring subject in class 9th? Not 10th. I'm not talking about 10th. I'm talking about 9th. According to you people, which was the highest scoring subject in class 9th? Can any one of you tell me? EVS. So somebody is saying EVS, somebody is saying computer, somebody is saying EVS, maths, history, Hindi. So you had like if you compare class 11th with class 9th, I guess 9th में ज़्यादा subjects थे, 11th में कम है, right? So I think we should target making legal studies also, a high scoring subject, because what we have to write is going to be logic based theory. Like you'll have to write logic based theory, and that would be accomplished when you understand the chapter the way I am telling you all, like step by step, paragraph by paragraph, right? Okay. So any questions do you people have? Like I'm speaking for like the past 45 minutes. I guess I should ask you people also. Like, do you people have a query or any sort of question? Like, feel free to ask anything which is related to your this new subject of yours, legal studies. You can ask me. Is anybody saying something? I could hear somebody speaking. Any such doubts, any queries, anything you want to know about this subject, anything related to legal studies? Yeah. No. Like, students, is it audible? Audio is not clear. Students, kindly, like I'm really sorry for if you are having any trouble regarding the audio distorting or what. I'll be fixing it by today, latest by today. Don't worry about it. And from the next lecture, we won't have such problems. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay. Am I visible and audible right now? Okay, I'm saying do not worry if there is if there is an audio distortion happening right now. It will be fixed by today, and from the next lecture you won't have that sort of problem. Don't worry about it. Okay. I hope I'm audible now. So you don't have to worry from the next lecture. Like I'll keep it fixed, and you won't have any problems regarding audio video. All right. So you people have any doubt? You want to ask me something, anything regarding your subject, this new subject of yours? I guess abhi tak we haven't had any class for this. So if you want to ask me, you can ask anything if you want to. Don't hesitate, don't worry. You can ask me whatever you want to. It's okay. Like regarding the subject, let me be very clear. Okay. Yes, yes. Besides being a lawyer, okay. So see, law. You see, yeah. See, when you study legal studies from class 11th onwards, and when you end class 12th, you have a lot of clarification as to many topics, and you'll come to know that there is just not BA LLB that you can pursue after this. You can enroll yourself in a graduation program and also start preparing for civil services. Like civil services would help and would also include a lot of legal subjects. For example, people from non-law background, when they appear for civil papers, they have constitutional law, civil law, criminal law, every subject in their entrance exam. So they haven't been a law graduate, but still they have to study and go through all of this. So you can appear for civil exams, and that would also learning law would help you there as well. And civils में अगर बात करो तो फिर then you have a lot many options. There's just not one career option. You will find n number of options, and don't worry. Like just like you, if there is any other student who comes up with this kind of query, I will help you all as to what kind of legal careers or studying law and finding out a career out of it. I'll help you all with that. There is no such problem with it, and there are many options. What is your name? Fatima, right? Don't worry, you'll find good number of options for that, and yeah, like similar is for like same is the case for everyone. If you people want to know about legal careers, we can have a discussion over that sometime after the class as well someday. Not today, but yes, but yes, you can bring in your queries to me, whatever you want to ask, and please download the syllabus for class 11 from the ICSE ISC Council website, please, so that we all stay on the same page when you have the syllabus. If anyone of you has it, like mail it or WhatsApp it to all your friends so that it's circulated amongst everyone. Okay. Amit sir, are you there? Okay, Amit sir, since it was an introductory class today, how long shall I be taking it for them? Yeah, like so I'll ask the student. No, I told them almost all the things like as an introduction to legal studies, and I was looking forward to their queries. I guess these people are also clear, students are clear with most of the things. Okay, any things you want to know? then we can sign off. Okay. All right, students. You people have a good day. We'll catch up on the next class. You're welcome. Okay.